Hello everyone, it's Will and welcome to another video. So some of you guys may have seen my top 10 tips and tricks to make gold as you level video, and of course tip number 6 in that video was where I told you guys to make yourself a bank alt. Now typically a bank alt is not a character you're looking to level to end game. It's pretty much there for the sole purpose of maximising your time efficiency. First things first, as I'm sure you're aware, not only does it save all of your characters the inconvenience of having to go to the auction house every time their bags are full, all they need to do is simply mail the items over to your bank alt from the nearest mailbox, but it also allows you to keep track of your gold, auctions and potentially white items that you may want for your own professions. Now just simply having a level 1 character in your faction's main city is a great start, but in this video I'm actually going to break that down and we're going to take a look at what makes a great bank alt and how you can best utilise yours to your own ends. We're going to do this in a number of ways, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Now as you can see here guys, I'm currently leveling up a warrior, and the reason that I'm doing this is because I want him to be level 5. For anyone who doesn't know, enchanting can only be learned at level 5 at the earliest, and that is why we're doing this. If one of your characters already has enchanting and you're happy to just send the trash screens that you're collecting throughout your quests and your levels, then that's fine. You can just stick with a level 1 bank alt and you don't need to do this. I personally do this because it allows me to centralize my disenchanting process, if you like. I have one character that handles all of my banking and all of my disenchanting, so it doesn't matter whether I'm level 10, 20, 50, 60. If I've got a trash screen that I want to disenchant, it just goes to the bank alt. And you may be saying, well, hold on a minute, Will, don't you need to level up enchanting to disenchant higher level gear? The answer to that question is no. In vanilla World of Warcraft, if you pick up enchanting at level 5, you can disenchant any item. It doesn't matter whether it's a level 5 green item or a level 60 epic item. You're going to be able to disenchant that at level 5. So getting enchanting on your bank alt is, in my opinion, really good. If you're happy to put in the time to get that to level 5, I highly recommend it. So now we've finished getting to level 5, we've picked up enchanting on our bank alt, and now the next thing that we want to think about is add-ons. And there are 4 add-ons that I want you to think about when it comes to your bank alt. I've got the links to all of the add-ons that we're going to be talking about in the description of this video. Highly recommend you check them out, and now we're going to go into them. So the first one that we're going to talk about is one called Bagnon. I'm sure a lot of you probably already have this add-on. If you don't, it really simplifies your bag space. It allows you to tell which items are white item, which items are green item, epic item, etc. And it's just really useful for your bag because it helps simplify the UI quite a lot. Just basically consolidates your bag and your bank bag, if you like, your bank, into one whole group. So it doesn't matter whether you've got 4 bags equipped or just the one, you're going to have all of those consolidated into one big bag. Fairly straightforward add-on, highly recommend it. Great improvement as far as quality of life is concerned with your inventory. So the second add-on I want to introduce to you guys is one called Informant. Now Informant is a little bit of a tricky one because it's actually only a minor part of a much larger add-on called Aunctioneer. For anyone who is familiar with the auction house in sort of vanilla Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, I don't know whether it's still going on in retail or not. Auctioneer is basically an add-on that allows you to basically collect more data from the auction house, make more calculated decisions when it comes to the auction house. It's a pretty good add-on, but for this we're not actually going to be using it much. Really, it's just the informant part of the add-on that we want. And the reason that we want Informant is because it's going to tell you the vendor value of items. So basically, let's say you rock up to the auction house and you've got a sword. We'll just use that as an example. That sword goes for 1 gold at the vendor, but it's only selling on the auction house, say, for 1 gold 10 silver. Now, after you take the auction house fee away, you're actually going to lose money posting it on the auction house, so it'd actually be smarter for you to either disenchant or vendor that sword, and that is why we want Informant, because you don't want to be running back and forth to the vendor all the time, trying to figure out what's worth what. Informant will do all of that for you inside your inventory while you're in the auction house. So Informant, guys, really great add-on. Now coming in at number 3, guys, we've got a beauty of an add-on called Postal. This add-on is a massive improvement as far as your in-game mailbox is concerned. Instead of having to post items individually, instead of having to open mail individually, whether that be a sold auction or if you're transferring items, etc., Postal does that all for you. It's a really simple, really easy to use add-on. You've basically got an open all mail function, and you've basically got send mail with more than one box open there for you, so you can just take items, place them in there, whether that be right clicking or drag and dropping. It's up to you. Just enter the name of the character in, give it a title and description if you want, or just leave it blank. It doesn't matter with this add-on, and then you can just hit send and it will mail all of those items across for you really simply. Instead of you basically having to do that for each item manually, it's going to save you a lot of time. Fantastic add-on. And now the last add-on, guys, that I want to introduce to you is one called Orcs. I think I'm pronouncing that right, I don't actually know, but for the sake of this I'm going to call it Orcs. And basically, guys, Orcs is a really advanced version of Auctioneer, and that's why we don't particularly have much interest for Auctioneer. This is much better as far as the auction house is concerned. If anyone is familiar with TSM, the add-on for the retail version of World of Warcraft, it's very similar to that in terms of its UI. It's very easy to use. Now, when I recorded this video, I also recorded a tutorial on Orcs. I highly recommend for those of you who don't know how to use the add-on to go and check that out. Including the tutorial in this video would have meant that this video would have probably come in at over 30 minutes. So for that purpose, I've made it its own video for those who are interested in learning it. Highly recommend you go and check that out. And we're just going to finish up now on the add-on section with Postal again. Just basically going to show you guys sort of some good examples of how Postal best works for your bank vault. So we can see here that we won that auction of Lambent Scaled Cloak. It's here. Normally you just take the item here, and you've also got a successful auction of Vision Dust, and we've won an auction on Copper Bar. And you can see here that we've got some auctions that have expired. We've actually got quite a few that have expired, and also some further on that have been successful. Now this, guys, if you're really playing the auction house, these really start turning into a lot of pages to open. Doing all of these items individually, it's a pain in the ass. By simply hitting open mail, that is going to take everything out of my mailbox, filter it into my bags should I need to. It's going to empty all my successful auctions. You can see here my goals now rising on the right hand side. Really nice and easy for me. It saves me a lot of hassle of doing all of that. And then again, if I ever need to send mass items, I can do. So again, guys, Postal saves me a hell of a lot of time with my bank alts. Now we're going to move on to the next section, which is just a few things to sort of tidy up and think about when it comes to your bank alt. And now we're moving on to the next part of this video, where I really want to give you guys some tips. And the first of those tips is basically when you're out on your adventures, when you're out questing or going about the world, try and think about getting rare vendor recipes. So just to give you an example, you can see here this Joseph Moore guy. Basically, he has this pattern, which is the Barbaric Braces pattern. It basically allows leather workers to make a rare set of braces. This is something that I can regularly flip for anywhere between 50 silver and in some extreme cases up to 3 gold on the auction house. But if we just check this one out to give you guys an example on TSM, the actual braces themselves, you could make them if you're a leather worker. I don't know what the mats cost, but they could be a potential extra money maker on your bank alt as well. If you've got like a leather worker that can just sort of make 4 or 5 of these things and then you can sell them over time, that could potentially earn you a lot of money. And also the pattern itself, like I said, it can go for a fair whack as well. In this case right now, it's going for 80 silver, which is alright. I mean, I paid 15 for it, so I'm going to make a bit of money there. For this, it doesn't really matter if I post it from my character, but if you're out questing in, say, Desolace, for example, there's a lot of rare, valuable patterns in Desolace. If you're picking all of those up in your character, you can quickly mail them across to your bank alt. Saves you worrying and stressing about going to the auction house on that character, and also you're going to be able to make more money with your bank alt. So again, guys, just to finalise on that tip, try to think about rare recipes while you're questing. And now finally, guys, the second tip that I want to bring to you and sort of share here. You guys might think this is a bit extreme. I mean, I understand that, but going between, my bank and the mailbox and the auction house all of the time, it does get a bit monotonous sometimes, and I do like to speed up that process if I can. So something that I like to do is just quickly tip an enchanter to basically put the minus speed increase on my boots, which I know sounds a bit sort of far-fetched to do that, but it does speed up the process a little bit for me. It does just get me to the mailbox, a bit quicker. So it's something I like to do to just sort of shave off a bit of time. Obviously that time saved isn't very much, but it does add up over the long run. Something you could do if you wanted to be really extreme about it is possibly look at the idea of leveling up a hunter to around level 20. You're going to get aspect of the cheetah, which is going to allow you to run between the mailbox and the auction house that much quicker, but also you could level up a secondary profession to some degree, such as leatherworking or blacksmithing, if you want to use that to effectively mill a bit more stuff. Obviously to do that you are going to have to put the time investment in to get to level 20. That's something that I personally don't feel I need to do. If you're really into the idea of doing that and having like a centralized bank alt with 2 professions, by all means go ahead and do it. But that pretty much wraps us up for this video, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I'm so glad that people have found the information that I put into my videos useful. It's really cool to get the feedback from you guys, and I think it'd be really cool if you guys could actually sort of share your ideas here on what you think might make a good bank alt. If you see a way to improve what I've done in this video, or if you see any opportunities to sort of develop this further, it'd be pretty cool to sort of get your intake on it. Let me know what you think, or how you do your bank alts, because I'm always interested in what other people are doing as well. It's really cool to learn from others. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you found this video useful, and as always, I will see you in the next one.